Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's that day of the week already. Hopefully everyone can hear me on Facebook and YouTube. So it is Saturday, which means it's AA Day. Woo! We are on step 12 today. I don't know if I'm going to get to read it all because it is quite long. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to read all of it today. Probably going to have to break it up into 2 days. So right there is all of the 12th step. So it's quite a lot of pages to try to read with just me reading. So I put the link in the chat on StreamYard for you guys on YouTube. You can come up if you'd like to. If not, it's okay. So yeah, please do not be rude. Do not do judgment. Be kind to each other in the chats on Facebook and YouTube. Please, that's all I ask. And just get along with each other. And if they are in the chat, that does not mean that they are the alcoholic. They could be here to support my channel or my platform, or they could be here to just listen and maybe come up with ways to help them throughout their life on certain things, or help family members and friends that they may know who are suffering from alcoholism or addiction or another habit. So today is day 3 of no cigarettes for me. I don't know if it's day 4 for my husband or not, but we have both quit so far. Knock on wood. Yes, so we're doing good. Doing good. I'm Sandra. I'm an alcoholic. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Step 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 4. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Get out of the laundry! Copper! Get out of the laundry! 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. Lay down. Quit eating that. 7. Humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we have harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. May direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So I always put in the description what page we're on, what story we're reading, or step or tradition, or whatever we are reading. And if you have the book, you can follow along. If not, that's okay. I am going to read it anyway. Step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. The joy of living is a theme of AA. 12th step and action is its key word. Here we turn outward toward our fellow alcoholics who are still in distress. Here we experience the kind of giving that asks no rewards. Here we begin to practice all 12 steps of the program in our daily lives so that we and those about us may find emotional sobriety. When the 12th step is seen in its full implication, it is really talking about the kind of love that has no price tag on it. Our 12th step also says that as a result of practicing all the steps, we have each found something called a spiritual awakening. To new AAs, this often seems like a very, very dubious and improbable state of affairs. What do you mean when you talk about a spiritual awakening? They ask. Maybe there are as many definitions of spiritual awakening as there are people who have had them. But certainly each genuine one has something in common with all the others. And these things which they have in common are not too hard to understand. When a man or woman has a spiritual awakening, the most important meaning of it is that he or she has now become able to do, feel, and believe that which he or she could not do before on his or her unaided strength and resources alone. He or she had granted a gift which amounts to a new state of consciousness and being. He has been set on a path which tells him he is really going somewhere, that life is not a dead end, not something to endure or mastered. In a very real sense, he has been transformed because he has laid hold of a source of strength which, in one way or another, he had hitherto denied himself. He finds himself in possession of a degree of honesty, tolerance, unselfishness, peace of mind, and love of which he had thought himself quite incapable. What he has received is a free gift, and yet usually, at least in some small part, he has made himself ready to receive it. Hey, Lil. AA's manner of making ready to receive this gift lies in the practice of the 12 steps in our program. So let's consider briefly what we have been trying to do up to this point. Step 1 showed us an amazing paradox. We found that we were totally unable to be rid of the alcohol obsession until we first admitted that we were powerless over it. In step 2, we saw that since we could not restore ourselves to sanity, some higher power must necessarily do so if we were to survive. Consequently, in step 3, we er, turned our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. For the time being, we were we who were atheists or agnostics discovered that our own group, or AA as a whole, would suffice as a higher power. Beginning with step 4, we commenced to reach out the things or to search out the things in ourselves which had brought us to physical, moral, and spiritual bankruptcy. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory. Looking at step 5, we decided that an inventory taken alone wouldn't be enough. We knew we would have to quit the deadly business of living alone with our conflicts and in honesty confide these to God and another human being. At step 6, many of us balked for the practical reason that we did not wish to have all our defects of character removed because we still loved some of them too much. Yet we knew we had to make a settlement with the fundamental principle of step 6. So we decided that while we still had some flaws of character that we could not yet relinquish, we ought nevertheless, nevertheless to quit our stubborn, rebellious hanging onto them. We said to ourselves, "This cannot do today. This I cannot do today, but I can still cry out." No, never. Then in step 7, we humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings, such as He could or would under the conditions of the day we asked. In step 8, we continued our house cleaning, for we saw that we were not only in conflict with ourselves, but also with people and situations in the world in which we lived. We had to begin to make our peace, and so we listed the people we had harmed and became willing to set things right. We followed this up in step 9. Hi, Tony. By making direct amends to those concerned, except when it would injure them or other people. By this time, at step 10, we had begun to get a basis for daily living, and we keenly realized that we would need to continue taking personal inventory. Good morning. And that we were in the wrong, we ought to admit it promptly. In step 11, we saw that if a higher power had restored us to sanity and had enabled us to live with some peace of mind in a sorely troubled world, then such a higher power was worth knowing better by as direct contact as possible. The persistent use of meditation and prayer we found did open a channel so that were there had been a trickle, there now was a river, which led to sure power of safe guidance from God as we were increasingly better able to understand Him. So, practicing these steps, we had a spiritual awakening about which finally was no question. Looking at those who were only beginning and still doubting themselves, the rest of us were able to see the change setting in. From great numbers of such experiences, we could predict that the doubter who still claimed that he hadn't got the spiritual angle and who still considered his well loved AA group the higher power would persistently love God and call him by name. Now, what about the rest of the 12th step? The wonderful energy it releases and the eager action by which it carries our message to the next suffering alcoholic, and which finally translates the 12 steps into action upon all our affairs in the payoff, the magnificent reality of Alcoholics Anonymous. Even the newest of newcomers finds undreamed rewards as he tries to help his brother alcoholic, the one who is even blinder than he. This is indeed the kind of giving that actually demands nothing. He does not expect his brother suffer to pay, or even to him. And then he discovers that by the divine paradox of this kind of giving, he has found his own reward, whether his brother has yet received anything or not. His own character may still be gravely defective, but he somehow knows that God has enabled him to make a mighty beginning, and he senses that. He stands at the edge of new mysteries, joyous and experience of which he had never even dreamed. Practically every AA member declares that no satisfaction has been deeper and no joy greater than in 12 step job well done. To watch the eyes of men and women open with wonder as they move from darkness into light, to see their lives quickly fill with new purpose and meaning, to see whole families resembled, to see the alcoholic outcast received back into his community in full citizenship, and above all, to watch these people awaken to the presence of a loving God in their lives. These things are the substance of what we receive as we carry AA's message to the next alcoholic. Nor is this the only kind of 12-step work. We sit in AA meetings and listen not only to receive something ourselves, but to give the reassurance and the support which our presence can bring. If our turn comes to speak at a meeting, we again try to carry AA's message. Whether our guidance is one of many, it is still 12-step work. There are many opportunities, even for those of us who feel unable to speak at meetings or who are so situated that we cannot do much face to face 12-step work. We can be the ones who take on the unspectacular but important tasks that make good 12-step work possible. Perhaps arranging for the coffee and cake after the meetings, where so many skeptical, suspicious newcomers have found confidence and comfort in the laughter and talk. This is 12-step work in the very best sense of the word. Freely ye have received, freely give is the core of this part of the 12 of step 12. We may often pass through 12-step experience where we will seem to be temporarily off the beam. These will appear as big setbacks at the time, but will be seen later as stepping stones to better things. For example, we may set our hearts on getting a particular person sobered up, and after doing all we can for months, we see him relapse. Perhaps this will happen in succession of cases, and we may be deeply discouraged as to our ability to carry AA's message. Hi, Paul. Or we may encounter this reverse situation in which we are highly elated because we seem to have been successful. Here, the temptation is to become rather than possessive of these newcomers. Perhaps we try to give them advice about their affairs, which we aren't really competent to give or ought not give it at all. Then we are hurt and confused when the advice is rejected, or when it is accepted and brings still greater confusion. By a great deal of ardent 12-step work, we sometimes carry the message to so many alcoholics that they place us in a position of trust. They make us, let us say, the group's chairman. Here again, we are presented with the temptation to overmanage things, and sometimes this results in rebuffs and other consequences which are hard to take. But in the longer run, we clearly realize that these are only the pains of growing up, and nothing but good can come from them if we turn more and more to the entire 12th step for the answers. Now comes the biggest question yet. What about the practice of these principles in all our affairs? Can we love the whole pattern of living as eagerly as we do the small segment of it we discovered when we try to help other alcoholics achieve sobriety? Can we bring the same spirit of love and tolerance into our sometimes deranged family lives that we bring to our AA group? Can we have the same kind of confidence and faith in these people who have been infected and sometimes crippled by our own illness that we have in our sponsor? Can we actually carry the AA spirit into our daily work? Can we meet our newly recognized responsibilities to the world at large? And can we bring new purpose and devotion to the religion of our choice? Can we find a new joy of living in trying to do something about all these things. Furthermore, how shall we come to terms with seeing failure or success? Can we now accept and adjust to either without despair or pride? Can we accept poverty, sickness, loneliness, and bereavement with courage and serenity? Can we steadfastly content ourselves with the humbler, yet sometimes more durable, satisfaction when the brighter, more glittering achievements are denied us? The AA answer to these questions about living is yes. All of these things are possible. We know this because we see monetary pain and even calamity turned to good use by those who keep on trying to practice AA 12 steps. And if these are facts of life for the many alcoholics who have recovered in AA, they can become the fact of life for many more. Hi, James. Of course, all AA, even the best, fall far short of such achievements as a consistent thing without necessarily taking the first drink. We often get quite far off the beam. Our troubles sometimes begin with indifference. We are sober and happy in our AA work. Things go well at home and office. We naturally congratulate ourselves on what later proves to be a far too easy, superficial point of view. We temporarily cease to grow because we feel satisfied that there is no need for all of AA's 12 steps for us. We are doing fine on a few of them. Maybe we are, sorry. The first step in the part of the 12 where we carry the message in AA slang, that blissful state is known as two-stepping, and it can go on for years. The best intentioned of us can fall for the two-step illusion. Sooner or later, the pink cloud stage wears off, and things go disappointingly dull. We begin to think that AA doesn't pay off after all. We become puzzled and discouraged. Then perhaps life as it has a way of doing suddenly hands us a great big lump that we can't begin to swallow, let alone digest. We fail to get a work for promotion. We lose that good job. Maybe there are serious domestic or romantic difficulties. Or perhaps that boy we thought God was looking after becomes a military casualty. What then? Have we alcoholics in AA got or can we get the resources to meet these calamities which come to so many? These were problems of life which we could never face up to. Can we now, with the help of God as we understand Him, handle them as well and as bravely as our non-alcoholic friends often do? Can we transform these calamities into assets, sources of growth and comfort to ourselves and those about us? Well, we surely have a chance if we switch from two-stepping to 12-stepping. If we are willing to receive that grace of God, which can sustain and strengthen us in any catastrophe, our basic troubles are the same as everyone else's. But when an honest effort is made to practice these principles in all our affairs, well-grounded AAs seem to have the ability, by God's grace, to take these troubles in stride and turn them into demonstrations of faith. We have seen AA suffer lingering fatal illness with little complaint and often in good cheer. We have sometimes seen families broken apart by misunderstanding, tension, and actual infidelity, who are reunited by the AA way of life. Though the earning power of most AAs is relatively high, we have some members who never seem to get on their feet money-wise, and still others who encounter heavy financial reverse. Ordinarily, we see these situations met with fortitude and faith. Like most people, we have found that we can take our big lumps and they as they come. But also, like others, we often discover a greater challenge in the lesser and more continuous problem of life. Our answer is in still more spiritual development. Only by this means can we improve our really er, chances for really happy and useful living. And as we grow spiritually, we find that our old attitude towards our instincts need to undergo drastic revision. Our desires for emotional security and wealth, for personal prestige and power, for romance and for family satisfaction, all these have to be tempered and redirected. We have learned that the satisfaction of instinct cannot be the sole end and aim of our lives. If we place instinct first, we have got the cart before the horse. We shall be pulled backwards into disillusionment. But when we are willing to place spiritual growth first, then and only then do we have a real chance. Let me see how many pages I got left. Oh, a lot. Um, Let me read the next page and I'll mark where I'm at. After we come into AA, if we go on growing, our attitudes and actions towards security, emotional security, and financial security commence to change profoundly. Our demand for emotional security for our own way had constantly thrown us into unworkable relations with other people, though we were sometimes quite unconscious of this. The result always had been the same. Either we had tried to play God and dominate those about us, or we had insisted on being over dependent upon them, where people had temporarily let us run their lives as though they were still children. We had felt very happy and secure ourselves. But when they finally resisted or ran away, we were bitterly hurt and disappointed. We blamed, we blamed them, being quite unable to see that our unreasonable demands had been the cause. Hey, Troy. When we had taken the opposite tack and had insisted, like infants ourselves, that people protect and take care of us, or that the world owed us a living, then the result had been equally unfortunate. This often caused the people we had loved most to push us aside and perhaps desert us entirely. Our disillusionment had been hard to bear. We couldn't imagine people acting that way towards us. We had failed to see that through. Though adult in years, we were still behaving childishly, trying to turn everybody, friends, wives, husbands, even the world itself, into protective parents. We had refused to learn the very hard lesson of over dependence upon people is successful because all people are fallible, and even the best of them will sometimes let us down, especially when our demands for attention become unreasonable. Ugh. Oh man, yeah, this one's really long, but um, the two stepping. I did the two stepping for a little while. I didn't want to do all the work, so I only did the two stepping for a while, and then I was like, I really need to start doing the rest of these things. And so I started doing them, and eventually I got that awakening. I got that feeling that, okay, I can do this, and I can do this with my group. I can do this myself. But I also still have a sponsor. So when I have a problem, I can call my sponsor, or I can text her or email her or message her on Facebook. There's all kinds of ways that I can get a hold of her. And I think it's great that she comes to this meeting. I got her over here on Facebook, and she's here just about every Saturday. And I'm really happy about that. And for the most part on Tuesdays as well. So, why do I do this? Like step 12 just said, we do this because we were given this gift. And the whole purpose of AA as a whole is to help the other alcoholic who still suffers. I have gotten at least three people to come and get sober. I don't know if they're all still sober, but I know two of them are, for sure. And that's my only goal. And being able to help people that have those people in their family and friends that might need to learn that there is help, because not everybody knows that there's help out there and that we're not non-judgmental. You can come as you are. You don't have to change who you are in any way other than get sober and work your steps, because in the long run it works. It really, really works. And I'm so proud to be able to share it with everybody. And I do it every day. Like, I'll get into a situation and I will be like, oh no, I can't do that right this minute. Like my mind is going crazy. Like, okay, calm down. Let's go ahead and start this over and take your deep breaths, and then you get on with it. And sometimes I have to do that a few times, but nevertheless, I'm still doing my steps in my daily life. So it's just something that I do without even thinking about it. And I'm proud to say that I trust AA to help me, and the fellowship to help me when I have a problem and I need to talk to someone. I know there's people there for me, just as I am for them. I don't care if it's my sponsor, she can call me anytime she needs to, and she knows that. My sister, for instance, she got sober after me, not too long after me, but she still got sober once I realized to not harass her about coming to AA. Because once I stopped harassing her about it, she actually came. And I'm so proud of her. And then one of my cousins, I got her to start going to AA and working steps and um doing her daily life one day at a time, because after all, you never know if you're going to make it through that day still sober. But you woke up sober, you made it sober, you can do it today too, and throughout the whole day. And just know, you guys, I have not had the best of luck in my life. But I have to tell you, there have been so many things that I am grateful to be sober for, that I have gotten to experience in my life since I got sober. My two kids graduating high school. Um, I have gotten to have a relationship with my parents, with one of my sisters, with my boys, with my nieces, none of my nephews, and mostly they're all on my family side. So, but AA does help, and you know, you don't have to get it right off, because sometimes you gotta take your time, and we're not saying you have to rush through it. The first one that I suggest that you take is the first step, because that is the very hardest step to do. Very hard to do step one, and that's just admit you're powerless over alcohol and that your life had become unmanageable. And then you go on. And step 12 is it's a great step. It makes you realize that you can do it. Like I tell everybody, you can do it. You just have to want it, and you have to want it for yourself. You don't want to be going and trying to quit and saying, well, this is for my kid. Because I can tell you, I tried that. I tried that. It didn't work. So I had to want it for myself to get sober, to stay sober, and be the better me, be the true me who I've always wanted to be. A very kind, loving person, um, that just wants to help others. become sober and have a happy, sober life and, live your best life. Don't throw it all away. And you are worth it. You are very much worth every single day. Um, and you may not know that your family is looking for you, that your friends are looking for you. Because after all, when we get into the drinking days, we don't care about anything except for the drink, which means we shove everybody back and we go off on our own and isolate ourselves. And so, in reality, we are the ones that are pushing them away. And it's because of our alcoholism that they are not there. And so, because when you're drunk, you can say mean things, you can be mean, you can get into fights or whatever. And sometimes you don't remember, but that person does. And just make your amends, you guys, and work your 12 steps every day. Every day you got to work those steps. Keep working them because it works. It really does work. I'm living proof. 9 years and 4 months almost. I'm really proud of myself and I'm proud of all of you for making it to my meeting, our meeting, and always know that you're welcome here and you always have a friend here. Whether it is on my adventures part of my channel or my AA part, I'm the same on both. So it's really me. Um, I did have people fooled that I was going and changing my clothes because I kept telling them I have a twin. Nobody believed me. I really do have a twin. Yes, identical twins. So, and she's my best friend and my neighbor. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Serenity Prayer, and then I'm gonna do the daily reflection, and I'll post the daily reflection on my Facebook wall, and I'm gonna read that to you guys here in a second, as soon as I get off of Facebook. So, thank you all for being here and being so kind and supporting a great thing and learning different things. Hi, Josh. Thank you for coming, my friend. Anyways, I will see you guys on the next one. Don't go anywhere yet. I'm going to read that daily reflection. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Love you. Hold on. I log off of Facebook. Okay. Here do we go. There it is. So I have an app on my phone that is for my daily reflections. You can keep track of your uh, sobriety date. They've got all kinds of different things you can read. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but yeah. So today's daily reflection, March 2nd. Hope. Do not be discouraged. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 60. Few experiences are of less value to me than fast sobriety. Too many times discouragement has been the bonus for unrealistic expectations, not to mention self-pity or fatigue. For my wanting to change the world by the weekend, discouragement is a warning signal that I may have wandered across the God line. The secret of fulfilling my potential is in acknowledging my limitations and believing that time is a gift, not a threat. Hope is the key that locks the door of discouragement. The program promises me that if I do not pick up the first drink today, I will always have hope. Having come to believe that I keep what I share every time I receive courage. It is with others that with the grace of God and the fellowship of AA, I tread the road of happy destiny. May I always remember that the power within me is far greater than any fear before me. May I always have patience and I am on the right road. And that's the daily reflection. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. Have a great rest of your weekend and be safe. And don't forget, you're worth it. You are worth it. And I'll see you guys on Monday in the chats. Love you guys. Be safe out there.